What's going on, guys? In case you couldn't tell by the title, this is the third part of the id Super Pack breakdown by me, the Psycho Ripper. Now, I've titled it Sequelitis because every game here is a sequel. Now, before you fanboys of Egoraptor come at me saying I'm unoriginal and I'm a fucker for stealing that word, I am a fan of Egoraptor myself, and I like the title, and it makes sense because I'm going over sequels. I'm not trying to rip off him or anything, it's just a good title, I figured. Anyways, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. Get psyched, it's time for Spear of Destiny, which is the sequel to Wolfenstein 3D. Though it does feel more like an expansion, I just went ahead and considered this a sequel because, well, when I was trying to divide up how I'm going to do this video series, this really is where it fit in. Anyways, the actual game itself is basically more of Wolfenstein 3D, which isn't a bad thing because, as you know, I like Wolfenstein 3D. It's a fun game, good challenge, has that maze-like feel from Wolfenstein 3D. Gameplay is essentially the same, nothing too different, which, like, it's not necessarily a bad thing, but it's not necessarily a good thing. I mean, they could have done something original or new to it, but it maintains the same formula fairly well. Yeah, there's not much else I can't say about this that hasn't been said in the first Wolfenstein 3D part of the id Super Pack breakdown. It's a fun game, fairly challenging, tons of secrets. Now the interesting thing about this though is this version actually has 2 lost episodes, which are 2 extra mission packs that come with this, and essentially there are just more levels, so it's basically even more Wolfenstein stuff. I don't know. They're pretty much, like I said, it's just it's kind of a sequel, but at the same time feels more like an expansion to Wolfenstein 1, which isn't a bad thing. The levels are fun, give you a decent challenge, but it doesn't stray too far from the original formula. There's not much else I can really say, but so, other than this is a fun little expansion of Wolfenstein 3D. Next we have Doom 2, the sequel to The Ultimate Doom, which, in case you didn't see the other part of the id Super Pack, this is part of the game pack that comes with it. So that was poorly phrased. Anyways, let's get into Doom 2. Like Doom, there's not much I can say about it that hasn't already been said, because, well, Doom is such a popular game franchise for PC players, and he's one of my all-time favorite series. Let me just go ahead and give you the differences between this version of Doom and the Ultimate Doom. Now, the major difference is, well, the major difference is in the gameplay. There's only one extra weapon, but there's a couple new enemies introduced in the game. Some of them include the Archvile and let's see what they are. Another type of Hellknight, I can't remember off the bat, but anyways, I'll be honest. I will tell you right now that I personally prefer Doom 1 because I find Doom 2 to be an incredibly fun game. Very nice level design, but later levels just get so goddamn difficult that it almost becomes impossible to play at times. Otherwise, Doom 2 is a fun game and definitely worth playing through at least once if you can. I had a hard time getting through it, but it's definitely a fun little challenge, but like I said, it does get incredibly difficult at times. It also has 2 secret levels based off Wolfenstein, which is pretty damn cool. Anyways, that's Doom 2 for you. You want to know a little more breakdown on it, there's tons of videos out there, I'm sure. Right, the next topic of discussion is the master levels of Doom 2. And what these are is actually a series of WAD files that you can launch through Doom 2 that are custom levels made by some different people. I think they only need software. Basically, this isn't really the full expansion of Doom 2, but a bunch of various levels custom designed for a good challenge, because they are called the master levels for a reason. These are not easy at all, much like Doom 2 itself. But there's a lot of them pretty fun. I'm playing the attack map, is what it's called. You have to manually load whichever WAD file you want to play on. So it doesn't auto-load again. You have to choose which one to play. I'm using Doom 95 with this one again because, like I said before, this is all I play Doom But, yeah, when you do it on the DOS box, it'll give you options to which one you want to select. So, anyways, these are fun. I haven't played through every single one because I've not beaten all of them because, well, they're pretty damn challenging. Anyways, they're definitely a fun little thing to do once you've beaten Doom 2 because they are just as challenging, if not more challenging, than the levels of Doom 2. Anyways, that's the master levels for you. Or at least one of them anyways. I'm not going to show you every single one of them. And now we have Quake II, which I cannot tell you how much I friggin' love this game. It's the sequel to the original Quake, though it's not nearly the same atmosphere as the original Quake. This has a new storyline and everything, as well as a fairly decent, different control scheme. Which isn't bad, but controls in this game are incredibly comfortable, incredibly playable. I personally love Quake II. Now, gameplay-wise, this is more of a, this isn't like I said, this is completely a far cry from the original Quake. It's not quite the same game, it does have some similarities, but it's not the same game entirely. Anyway. That's not bad for me. The game is incredibly fun, incredibly playable. The one thing I do not like about this version, though, is that you don't have the music, because it's not the CD version of it. So, unfortunately, you sacrifice having the awesome soundtrack by Sonic Mayhem for having this version of it. Nonetheless, with music or not, it's still an incredibly fun game. It's not necessarily the most difficult out of them. I honestly find this game much easier than Quake 1, but it's still an incredibly fun and playable game. Definitely one of the selling points of the Super Pack is getting this game, with or without music. Now, level design is also a great thing to mention about this because the level design for this game is awesome. The atmosphere is great, and visually speaking, for its time, it's an incredibly decent looking game. Because of its age, it'll even run smoothly on just about any computer nowadays. So, this game is great fun, isn't terribly difficult, and has a lot going for it. And I know you can't really see much because it's the first level, but this is definitely one of the games you need to play through when you get these, if you do, which I suggest you do if you like good games.